So this morning, I'm going to address one of your submitted questions. By the way, if you want to submit a question to be answered on a future Darren Daily, potentially, you can leave it in the comments anytime that we do one of these AMA episodes. So this question comes in from Stephen Winnebacher, writing in from Overland Park, Kansas. Stephen asked, we have over 300 employees. What should I be looking for to identify future leaders in my organization? Well, that is a great question, Stephen, because you can get easily faked out here. While you want your culture to foster the leadership attributes of self-motivation, self-responsibility, being highly adaptable, and having high-velocity decision-making for everyone, ultimately, you need the right people in strategic positions to lead the organization forward. So, to break this down simply, there are three types of positions in organizations. There are leaders, producers, and role players. Sometimes organizations have producers in leadership positions, and that ends up in dysfunction and disasters. Or they have role players in leadership positions. With that lack of leadership, the inmates start running the asylum. Or natural leaders that are stuck in roles of producer or role players. That is just a waste of greater ability and greater organizational leverage. I've had people in the wrong slots who failed. And I've had people who, when moved to the right slots, flourished. The same people, just put in the right spot. Getting this right is extremely important to building and driving a high-performance organization. The best way to identify future leaders throughout your organization, regardless if they sit in producer or role-playing positions now, is to find those already demonstrating leadership attitudes and behaviors. Let me give you a half a dozen to look for. Are you ready? Everybody's going to want to write these down, either to better display or to better find leaders in your organization. Number one, initiative. Future leaders don't assume that other people are in charge and wait to be told what to do. They see what needs to be done to make things better, to make things easier, to make things more efficient, to speed up progress towards goals, and they just do it. Most people have an avoidance mindset. They avoid taking on more and pushing responsibility up the management chain versus taking ownership. Number two, they think strategically. They ask questions, they make suggestions, they come with ideas. They are looking and they're listening and they're thinking beyond their role. Most team members take a narrow view of their role. Future leaders look beyond their assigned role to see what needs to be done on the whole to win. And they take action on it, going back to number one. Number three, resilience. Stress is always the best test. Difficulty, crisis, setbacks, failures, and defeats reveal character. Adversity doesn't necessarily bring out the worst in people, but the essence of people. Under pressure, people fall back to their true character set point. Does defeat debilitate them or does it provoke them? During a crisis, is their fear greater than their faith? Faith in the team, faith in the leadership, and most importantly, faith in themselves to lead through it. Do they curse the dark or do they help look for the light switch? Number four, communication. A great way to spot natural leaders within your organizations is to pay attention to how they communicate with their colleagues. Do they communicate clearly and with confidence? Are they listened to and respected by others? Does their voice carry weight and have influence? Do they come to meetings prepared? Do they actively speak up, inquire about specifics, ask questions that others are thinking but might be too timid to ask, and make constructive suggestions? Do they speak with empathy and optimism and encouragement? Do they praise and amplify others, as well as challenge and hold others to account? And the big one, EQ. Do they have strong emotional intelligence, industry knowledge, technical expertise, financial acumen, strategic prowess, and personal charisma have very little to do with effective leadership. The one thing 90% plus of high-performing leaders have in common is a high emotional quotient, or EQ. Do they have acute self-awareness? Do they exercise discipline, consistency, and self-regulation? Do they take full responsibility without excuse, justification, story, or casting blame? Do they have an acute awareness of the feelings, thoughts, and attitudes of others? Who is the person that people usually go to for advice or assistance? Who does the team already respect and trust? that can point you towards a potential leader. And then number 6, loyalty. Even if you have found many people who meet the first 5 criteria that I've outlined here, now you want to assess loyalty and longevity. Are they a patriot or a mercenary? Are they doing a short tour of duty or are they a careerist? Growing and further developing leaders requires an investment, a big investment, not just in training, but in time, your time as the alpha of the tribe. And you are bestowing authority to them. This will give them emotional influence over the organism. If they soon exit, the organization will take a big emotional hit. Psychic rehabilitation is often necessary, and all that recovery time is lost as well. 95% of success is selection. So get this right, and you're mostly done. The rest is further developing those already demonstrating the right attributes. And for that, I built the Hero's Journey for you. It's the world's only complete leadership development system designed in and for the modern world. The challenges of leadership are radically different today than they were only 5 to 10 years ago, and it requires a radically different training and development process. Hero's Journey will give you the structured process to develop those that you identify as your organization's future leaders. And if you want to be a future leader of the organization that you're a part of, step up to invest in your future self and your future opportunities by growing your leadership capabilities. Hero's Journey is where you can do that. But hey, the choice is yours. It's one of the greatest tests of leadership. When the challenge is presented, when the call to action is made, do you step up or shrug it off? No opportunity is ever lost. The ones that you miss, others will find. These are the defining moments, the defining choices that determine whether one advances or stagnates, whether one leads or follows, whether one prospers or subsists. So I hope that those 6 distinctions help all of you identify your future leaders, or what it takes for you to become a future leader and where to go to further develop your skills of a modern 21st century leader. Existing leader or not, tell us in the comments below. Which of the 6 that I outlined for you here do you need to grow in more to demonstrate better leadership? Initiative, thinking, strategically, resilience, communication, EQ, emotional intelligence, or 6, loyalty and longevity and stick-to-itiveness? Tell us that in the comments below. A man buys a lie detector robot that slaps people who lie. The man decided to try it out at a dinner. Dad asks his son, "Son, where were you during school hours?" The son replies, "At school." The robot slaps the son. "Okay, I was at a friend's house watching a movie." And the son says, "Which one?" asks the dad. "Kung Fu Panda," replies the son, and the robot slaps the son again. "Okay, it was a dirty movie," said the son. "What?" said the dad. "When I was your age, I didn't even know what a dirty movie was." The robot slaps the dad. "Ha ha ha," the mom laughs. "He's your son after all," she says, and the robot slaps the mom. Oh, okay, all right. What is a robot's favorite genre of music? Heavy metal, of course. Okay, why did the robot go back to school? He was getting a bit rusty. Okay, why did the robot cross the road? Because he was programmed to do it. Come on, he's a robot. Have a great weekend, everybody.